This is a Grim Dawn Infinity update. I'm level 46 now, and just want to give an update on the status of the game. So one of the big changes here is that I'm pulling all the skills over into the Soldier and Arcanist. So on here, Grasping Vines has been replaced on here. Frailty also came from another class, and then I've chosen Arcanist. These are pretty much going to be the only two selections that you'll have. So while that may sound a little bit limiting because the game is mainly based on having a lot of class selection, what you'll see here is the play is a little bit different. So on here I'm going to cast a bunch of skills together and kind of chain them. So what this does is basically pulls out all of the skills that chain together rather quickly and smoothly. So it creates kind of an action-based combat on here. And a lot of the skills in the game are really just redundant for passives, and there's some that the animations and stuff don't really seem as impressive. So this way seems to really give you a lot of options while still allowing it to feel more of an action-based game. And I think they kind of flow together really well. And it also stops it from being kind of cheesy with long distance. You're not really facing anything. You're just kind of shooting everything at a distance. So to kite stuff like that would be rather simple, where here you're actually kind of forced to more do a lot of melee engagement on there. And it just feels like the gameplay is really kind of smooth that way, and a lot of these are used for debuffs. And I just like the way that plays, but you'll still have enough skills to choose from that it won't really feel as limiting as that may sound at first. I did get the dungeons to work here finally, so this maps over to another location. And that seemed to work out pretty well. There are specific art assets that you need in order to make that work correctly. A lot of those guides show that you can just take any kind of art asset and do that. They're not really designed to do that. You really have to have it with an access point on there for it. So I'm just going to show off a little bit of the game here. There's been a lot of mapping and detailing on here. And that part has gone really well. If you've seen some of the other videos, you'll see that there's a little more kind of bushes and trees and you know, rocks and terrain and stuff like that, floors. And I have been adjusting pretty much all the combat formulas to designate how ranged works, what resistances the creatures have, and just kind of gutting out everything. I do plan on moving some more of the skills. That is something that's rather difficult. I don't know that I'll necessarily do a video on that because the complexity of moving skills over, especially from a tree that they don't belong to, you have to really know exactly the kind of XY coordinates of where it's going, and there's a lot of different labels in there between what they're actually labeled in the back-end system that don't necessarily match what the skills are. So it takes quite a bit of work in order to do that. So I just don't know that a video would really show off very well, and I'm trying to do something that's kind of hard to understand and more complex. But I will do maybe some more videos that are in the simple editing for that, maybe show how to do the portals. I was not successful yet in doing the map portals on there. I did create them, so I do have one that I can summon, and I did strip out the map, so this is the one that I've created on there. But I can't get it to interact with the map yet, so you can actually select it. But the other one, just being able to do the dungeon, should be good enough to at least kind of do a quick travel and kind of do it cleverly. The pathing on here I do really like, so I'm going down this kind of left-hand side, but you can also go right up the center here, and some of these will be a little bit easier or more difficult. So as you get higher level, you can still kind of go down the same paths and then choose you know, which one you want. Or if you're just doing kind of a farming rotation, it gives you the ability to kind of choose multiple paths and kind of get to the same location. A lot of the creatures in here, like this knight's a lot stronger. I can defeat that, but you're not necessarily meant to kill everything that you come across. You're meant to kind of you know, gauge as you go on what's what you can handle. These look a little bit quicker now because my my skill level relative to it. So this is also another tough one that I don't really want to mess with that. But basically, as you level up, you'll go through and end up killing a lot more things on the path. So there's a lot of areas that when I first started out, I didn't really clear that much stuff. And just went to more of the easier mobs and then just started picking up more and more as I was moving along. But I have been using a lot of this area to level now because the leveling process has gone very smoothly. You only need a little bit more EXP. So this leveling will not match what it's like in playing the regular game. You only need slightly more EXP, and then I can kill just slightly faster as I level up. So those work really well together in that I'm leveling almost at the same pace all the time. So this is a little bit of the new area that I'm about to get into, using this as maybe my grinding spot because it's got some good density and a little bit higher area. And I'm just going to kind of pass through here and show some of the terrain and some of the area. I'm not really going to kill too much of this stuff for now. So there are some areas on here that use the height terrain, which I really like in doing some, maybe in some dungeons and even outside areas on here where you're able to transverse up and down, get kind of a nice viewpoint. These this circle here, basically using, I have to fix the pathing on that and block this off. These are used as spawn points whenever you see that throughout the game. That's basically an area where you can respawn, and then I will be filling out this area. Quick note on the mapping here. So out here a little bit further, you can see some examples of, I pulled out a lot of the different art assets. And I just use this as reference. So as I'm building that map, I just pull over a bunch of the pieces and stuff that are out here and use that as kind of a reference to copy. Sometimes I just do this by not referencing this point and just looking at the art assets. So when I do that, I'm just kind of not really creating the new thing. So if I want something to look a little bit different, I'll just kind of start from scratch. But this is a good one for reference points of a bunch of assets that kind of look like they belong in the area, and then I would use this kind of stuff and pull it over and build into the map. The size of the map's getting pretty big. I don't know exactly what limitations there are. I'm hoping to really run into an issue with that as far as it running smoothly or how big that game world could be. So that's all for now for the tutorial. I just wanted to give everybody kind of a little update on what's going on. I hope that that looks like the skills will look kind of smooth. And I've mainly chosen ones that are just specific of ones where the graphic animation looks good, the casting is quick, and they look like they flow well together. So I'll work on extracting some more of these and kind of putting it together. Thank you.